Eragon was alone in the room when he woke. Book 1, Eragon, Chapter 34, Worshippers of Helgrind, and Chapter 35, The Razak's Revenge. Welcome to Eragon and Back Again, a podcast where we explore Christopher Paolini's inheritance cycle one chapter at a time. I'm Lucy Hart.
And I'm Darien Smartt.
And we are getting somewhere.
We are stuff's gonna happen. Things are taking place. It broke bad.
Yep.
Oh no.
I'm so excited. I'm sad, but I'm so excited.
But first, Lucy, do you have any sparks of inspiration?
Yes, I do. I'm
You
actually
do.
so excited.
You're so
about
excited.
This. So I feel like I talked about Sarah J. Maas before,
Mm-hmm.
but I've started reading her latest chapter or her latest book, House of Flame and Shadow. It's the third book in her Crescent series books.
Mm-hmm.
So I know like one of our big things in Eragon is withholding information from us, and it is so frustrating. But I think Sarah J. Maas does an amazing job of withholding information by not telling us what she is withholding.
Yes, right? It's like, oh, you don't know.
Yeah, and it's like even though it's from a character's perspective, you still have no idea what that person is hiding. I'm going to put in a skip thing because I want to talk about a specific thing.
Okay.
So it's a spoiler. So if anyone doesn't want the first book completely spoiled, skip until whatever it is. So in the first book, there's this whole thing called the I can't believe I can't remember it. They talk about it so much. It's like the Starlight something, like the Fae have inherited this Starlight ability, and the whole time Bryce, the main character, is like, she has no power. She's half human, half Fae, and they did like when you do the drop, which is when you fall into your power, that she's going to inherit X amount of power, and they found out that it's going to be like barely on the scale. She's inheriting nothing. But the thing is she has these starlight abilities that has been passed down from generation. And it is only light, which is why it appears so low. It is very, very light. And she is hiding the fact that she has this. And she has a half brother who is called the Starborn Prince. That's it, called the Starborn. And so he has the Starborn Prince title. And like that has granted him some leeway with the Fae and his dad, the Autumn King. And so she doesn't want to take that from him. So she hides her Starborn abilities. And we are not told any of this. We are given hints of her and her best friend Danica were in this really bad situation. And it again just hints and drops. Like we get the flashback of her and Danica being forced to kneel on concrete with guns at their head. And then like way later in the book, they're in the same situation, flashback, and Bryce says, "Close your eyes, Danica." And then that's where the flashback ends. And then we go back. And what happens is she blinds the guys holding them captive and then kills them all because they're going to kill them.
Oh, you have to.
Yeah. But like the big reveal is like, again, we don't know she has power, like nothing. Like me reading it, I'm like, I could see it throughout it. But the first time I had no idea. She's just somebody with no power. And at the very end, there's this asshole who opens portals to hell and demons are rushing out. And she calls Hunt, I think it is. Yeah, Hunt. She calls Hunt, who's like her kind of it's the love interest. And so she calls him and she says, "Hey, call my mom and tell her I loved her." Like she's saying her last goodbyes, and everyone's like, "Don't do this, don't do this, don't do this." And she ends up hanging up, and they're watching her on cameras. And she runs up to like one of the gates, the portals, and she goes to her chest and she pulls out her star. And it's the first time that she is exposing herself with her power. And I lost my mind. Everyone in the book lost their mind. It was so incredible. And it was, for me, it was like that moment would have been spoiled had she been like, "Oh, I have the secret, but I can't tell. Oh, I have the secret, but I can't tell." I'm not trying to bash on Paolini, but what Paolini does with Brom throughout the book.
He has a secret, but he can't tell.
But he's like, I can't tell. Like, you can't, nope, you can't know this, you can't know this, nope. And so it was just the fact, like, even when the book is like half or primarily in Bryce's perspective, but even when we're in her head, we have no idea of this. Like, she doesn't allude to it at all, even when we're in her head. So I just want to, like, My spark of inspiration is just how she is able to withhold information that doesn't feel like dangling a piece of meat in front of us.
It's like when it feels like a lot of times with Brom, it's the dangling, like, oh, I have something so special.
Yes.
Keep reading. You want to know what it is. Keep reading. Yep. And it's like, you're like,
I'm already invested. You don't need to dangle.
Like, okay. With her, it's like, it's not dangling, but it sounded like there was enough where it's like, what was that? Like, hold on, you do have a secret. There is something here, so that when it's revealed, it's not just like a Deus Machina came out of nowhere. While that's convenient, it's oh no, and she just never lets herself think about it.
Yep, there's a point where there's the star sword that reacts to starborn ability, and her brother puts it on the table, and it talks about how a drop of starlight goes from like the tip to the hilt, and Bryce leans away from it, and you're thinking like, oh, she doesn't want anything to do with it. And even like, I think it's her brother's perspective in that moment where he's just like, she doesn't want any association with the sword, and that makes sense. But in reality, when she reveals her power and she thinks about that moment, she does it to hide the fact that it is calling to her, that she wants to touch it, that it shined because it was of Bryce, not because he put it on the table. And it's just like, oh my gosh, so it is absolutely there.
Secrets should be hinted at, they should be foreshadowed so they feel earned. And so even like readers who maybe call it like, oh, I knew it the whole time, that feels satisfying, and not just like, well, how could anyone have known that? Like, okay, that would have been cool to know. Like, I think that's very strong.
So like, that's my inspiration, is just pulling from Sarah J. Maas, and the fact that regardless of how people feel about her works, I think she does a really good job at hiding information well that doesn't feel frustrating. So like, that's what I would like to do in my own book, is like, and it's just taking the thing, I'm like, if I want to hide something and I want a big reveal, I will hint at it, but I will ultimately not talk about it until that moment, I think. So that's mine. That was very long, but that was mine.
No, that's really good. Mine is a little bit briefer. I just want to shout out Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Ooh.
Just as like the concept. I'm not going to get into it real in depth. No one needs this information, but I will say that the archetype of the starving artist struggling in capitalist society, but still pouring passion into the work, that just ain't me, y'all. And I'm going to say it's a lot easier to write and work on things when you're not worried about paying rent.
Yeah.
So, spark of inspiration.
Yep.
Financial security.
Yes.
It's not fun, but it really did inspire me this week to actually get to writing for the first time in the month. I'm sorry, y'all. I know the writing is the reason why we went bi-weekly, and it's probably vexing to hear I did not write at all for the last month, but y'all.
It's stressful out here.
Things are stressful, but I was up until like almost 2 a.m. last night writing on, working on, but just, shout out to financial security.
Yay, financial security. I mean, that's a fucking solid.
You know who's not so secure right now?
Brom and Eragon.
Things, y'all, what? So, we've got worshippers of Helgrind. Eragon spends an unpleasant day in Dras Leona, keeping a low profile as Brom prepares their next move. But when the Razak unexpectedly corner him in the cathedral, it's a mad dash for our heroes to escape the city. But luck isn't on their side, and they're captured in the woods.
Yep.
Bad. Whoa.
And here's our rush out of the city escape. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I literally wrote that. Where when the Eragon has been like cornered and he's running out of the city and he's like reaching out to Saphira, I have this note. This is what I thought was going to happen in Tarim.
Yep.
Like.
But nope, in Helgrind.
And let's talk about that.
Or Dras Leona.
Dras Leona. Helgrind is the mountain. Dras Leona is
the
awful, awful city.
Yep.
Yeah. She sees a fucking auction of them selling people.
Yeah.
And that was like, ugh. So, which is like not saying, oh, it's bad to put that in the book. Like, I think it was demonstrating that the world is bad. And Eragon, okay, I guess we're going to talk about this first. Eragon has an instinct of he wants to free one of the people.
Yes. I actually have a lot of that highlighted.
But he stops himself because he realizes that this man would just not make it out.
Yep.
And he'd just make things worse for him.
Yep.
And I'm like, I really like that. Yeah, he's right. Like, he's like, it's so, his power to do something about this injustice is so limited. And because of that, even what he could do would actually only make it worse for the person suffering.
Yep.
And I think that's very insightful. I didn't like how it was compared to the Urgles thing.
Yeah.
Where we're equating it's to still... It's like, I didn't think, like, when I dealt with the Urgles, it's like... And I think that is fair because he didn't think. And by confronting the Urgles, he does make their situation more intense.
Yeah.
But I think, as we talked about, it ties back to like, wait, so are we saying he should have killed the Urgles? Or are we saying he should have done nothing? Are we saying he should have done something different? Like, conjured up a fucking Maleficent-style barrier of thorns in their path. Like, what are we saying by comparing this situation to the Urgles one?
Yeah.
And so I appreciate the moment of him learning to think through things. And it's also like it shows humility because he could have still just like saved quote, quote, the person in the auction and been like, well, I did my good deed and not cared about how it would actually impact that person. Mm-hmm. So I liked it was complex, and I like that Eragon's having to deal with the fact that things are complicated. And he's like, I should have more power. I am a dragon rider. And if I could act in an authority in this moment as a dragon rider, then I would be able to stop this. But I can't act in that authority.
Yep.
Because of the other power structures that are systemic in this system that has been created that I am literally maybe the only person that could do something about.
Yeah, he thinks, with Saphira by my side, I could free those slaves. I've been graced with special powers. It would be selfish of me not to use them for the benefit of others. If I don't, I might as well not be a writer at all. Which is, I think, just with what you were saying, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. And the thing is, like, he can't summon Saphira right then. Like, when he's saying with Saphira by my side, it's not like he should just call her right then because the Razak are there, the guards are there, like that. He literally can't do that right now. They aren't powerful enough to stand against these systems.
Yes,
as we see in these very chapters, what would have actually happened?
Yeah, it would have gotten them all in a really bad trouble. What I like about that whole scene too, is that Brom's teachings, because like before this, he was putting Eragon in complex situations and forcing him to think, what action would you take? Yeah. And I feel like this is showing Eragon is learning. Like he's actually thinking about, oh, if I do this,
consequence.
Then consequence. So I think like that's also maybe like a little nod towards him and Brom's like teaching of Brom, like being like, well, what if you were in this situation? What would you do?
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Yeah. And I think we talked earlier is like, oh, that's wrong. You did it wrong. And we were just like, okay, well, what makes it wrong, Brom? And that was, I think, largely us coming from like, we don't agree with the way he said he should have dealt with the Urgles.
Yeah.
Because of largely the way the Urgles are being framed in the series as just monstrous.
Yes.
But I think it is demonstrate that if Eragon had said, oh, I would free the slave, that is the wrong answer. Yeah. Because of that person is not going to get away. Like, are you going to help them? What about all of the others?
What about the guards? What about everyone else? Like,
at the end, they will just, like, that man will just be hurt more.
Like, or even killed.
Yep. Which, death before enslavement. But that's a personal choice. You don't make that choice for someone else.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was brutal. And it was interesting is that immediately the next place he goes to is the cathedral.
Yeah.
And I think it's also very interesting still tying together this horrible, horrible place that allows horrible, horrible things to happen. Yeah. And the very next thing we see is a very impersonal, physical, tangible representation of religion.
Yep. Absolutely.
And I don't know what Paolini is saying, but it is there. This is here.
Yeah. I I highlighted the entire building sent a shiver down Eragon's spine. There was something menacing about it, as if it were a predator crouched in the city waiting for its next victim. Mm-hmm. And it's like, ooh, like describing a cathedral like that is like, ooh.
Yeah, it's not a sanctuary. It's not a safe place. It's not for comfort or love or security or even faith. Well, probably faith. Yeah. But faith can mean different things.
Yep.
It is very just brutal and fear and oppression.
Yep.
He still just goes in just to check it out, and he like pays respects not to religion but just to the cathedral. Yeah, and I'm just like, okay.
Yeah, I remember when I was listening to this the other day, out of respect, Eragon knelt before the altar and bowed his head. And I was like, there is no way he's going to pray to Helgrind. He did not pray, but paid homage to the cathedral itself. I'm like, oh, okay, that's fair.
Yeah, the sorrows of the lives it had witnessed, as well as the unpleasantness of the elaborate pageantry that played out between its walls, emanated from the stones. It was a foreboding place, bare and cold, and that chilling touch, though, came a glimpse of eternity and perhaps the powers that lie there.
Yep.
Okay, I don't believe Eragon would do that.
Yeah.
And I feel desperately uncomfortable making those comments about someone else's character and disagreeing with things that the character, not like, oh, I disagree with that because I think that was the wrong choice for the character to make, but disagreeing in the point that I sincerely don't believe there is anything about Eragon that we know that would lead him to feel reverence of this matter. Or maybe I'm just not understanding what's written. Like, the cathedral and everything else, like, I don't know. Reverence for tying what he had just seen at the auction into, like... this seems like a weird thing to have Eragon do, and I don't feel like there's anything we have for him. The tying of, like, oh, you know... that feeling, the glimpse of eternity, and it's like, I guess we kind of like had the idea of like death when they were dealing with Garo passing away and those traditions, but even still that wasn't really, I don't know, it just seemed, I didn't understand what this moment was supposed to be.
Yeah, I don't know either. I honestly think for Eragon, what he has shown so far is he does not have necessarily faith in a higher power. I don't think we've ever seen
he's like abstract cultural practices.
Yes, but I don't think he himself has any of that like faith. Again, like I said, towards a higher power. So I do think for me it was weird too that he came in and actually knelt at the altar, and I was like, I don't know.
Yeah,
like. It did feel a bit weird that he would go. Also, like this building gave him the creeps.
It was so creepy. Why are we reverence to the cathedral?
And he still walks in and kneels at the altar. Like and also like after what Brom told him about the priests like cutting off their limbs and stuff, I would be like, what happened on that altar? Like, do I want to know what happens on that altar? Like, I don't know. So I do think it's a bit weird, especially that we have got this image that the church is in charge of the whole city.
Yeah.
And almost basically, like, again, maybe I might be tying too much into it, but the church is allowing slave trade.
Yes, no, it absolutely is, because the church is in charge of the whole city.
Absolutely.
Then nothing happens in this city without this organization's approval.
Yeah, and so maybe a more appropriate response would be Eragon does walk in, and
absolutely Eragon walks into the cathedral.
Absolutely. But he doesn't kneel. He just looks around, and maybe like a line of like, even though like he could tell that a lot of time and effort was put into building this place, it disgusted him knowing
knowing what it like. I get like, because I think that's the words are like the sorrows of the lives it had witnessed, as well as the unpleasantness of the elaborate pageantry, a foreboding place, barren, cold, chilling. Like all of these words are like, it's bad, but it's still like he is paying respects because it is a place where it almost does hint at the possibility of a higher power. Yeah. That like glimpse of eternity.
Yeah. But it's also, for me, it's like my, like playing a guitar and hitting the wrong chord in my brain, just the wrong chord.
That's such a good way to describe that, Luce.
It's a wrong chord because this cathedral is for Helgrind. Like it is not necessarily for a higher power, it is for a mountain. Yeah. And I mean, like, you could describe, like, it could be a higher power, like, if the mountain is alive and da-da-da-da.
Yeah, we don't really know the theology of this religion and what they truly believe. They just worship the mountain. We don't understand why or where it comes from.
And so it's like, I don't know. And it's like, came a glimpse of eternity, and I guess, like, that could go through it because a mountain can be eternal. Like, the only thing that erodes a mountain is time. Basically.
Yeah, but I guess but even we in our thing know it's not eternal because it will erode and it is gone. But we don't know the level of like geological understanding that is in Alocasia.
Yeah. So, and it's like it could be that their magic exists in this world, so it could be that Helgrind is eternal. Like nothing will wear it down.
Yeah. But he doesn't even think about like Helgrind. He just thinks about like what potential powers are.
And that's just weird to me.
It's just I love what you said about the guitar and playing the wrong chord, because I think the rest of the notes in the sequence and like Eragon reflecting on this being such an awful place. Yeah. And him going in at all. Of course he's gonna check out the cathedral. It's Eragon. Yes. I'm not surprised he went to check this out.
He's a very curious boy, yes.
It's the kneeling, and even I think he knelt just to pay respects for what he had just witnessed in the auction, and just he can feel the weight of suffering here, and just spending a moment to acknowledge that in a way that perhaps is not ever rightly acknowledged in this, like, that would make sense. But just just the respects to the cathedral. It's the wrong chord for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I think it was, though? It was the dramatic effect of him standing, turning, and seeing the Razak in the doorway.
That's exactly the visual of him kneeling, and he turns, and
and the Razak are just there.
What? How? Wait.
She's fallen over. She has fallen over.
No, because it's been so many years since I've read this book.
Yeah.
That I was genuinely. Finally, Eragon inclined his head and rose. Calm and grave, he whispered words to himself in the ancient language. We didn't even talk about that.
Yeah.
Then turned to leave. He froze. His heart jumped, hammering like a jump. The Razak stood at the cathedral's entrance, watching him. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
Like, so shocked. And she was like, wait, what? They're just here? They're just here? How? Why?
They're just,
what?
They're there.
So he shoots him with the bow and arrow.
Yep.
Which Brom at the top told him, yeah, Lucy, do you want to go off?
Oh my god, I freaking have that starred. I have a couple of things sparred. So I like the fact that rage welled up in Eragon. He had chased the Razak for so many weeks that the pain of their murderous deed had dulled within him, but his vengeance was at hand. And his wrath exploded like a volcano, fueled even more by his pent-up fury at the slave's plight, which I actually really like.
Yeah.
Because I like the fact that it's like, yes, time does dull pain.
Yes.
And I feel like that makes sense. But then seeing and it just coming back up fresh, like, I love that. I absolutely love that.
Like, you in time, the pain you experience, it doesn't start. It's not. You grow strong enough to carry that weight that you don't notice it as often. But when the thing that caused the pain is there, it's suddenly tenfold again.
Yes,
like, I think that was,
it's very good. But I'm annoyed because deftly, okay, the word deftly, he does it, and he's good at it. Sorry.
Yeah, we're back in the archery thing.
Deftly, he fit an arrow to the string and loosed it. 2 more followed an instant later. I was listening to this in my car, and when I was listening, I was gesturing frantically at my stereo like, he's a good archer. He's a good archer. Why do we ignore this?
No,
why is it just shoved aside? But,
Yeah. At the top, and he wakes up. There's Brom left a note to him that's like, hey, here's some food. I'll be gone till tonight. Like, stay unnoticed.
Which is dumb. Why would you write that on the wall? Anyway.
Well, I guess they don't have paper.
They don't have paper. I was just like, why would you write that on the wall?
He's got to tell Eragon not to worry. It says, avoid the palace. Don't go anywhere without your bow. Keep it strong. And I highlighted that, and I was like, when is the last time Eragon has actually used his bow? Like, we are not practicing with the bow.
No.
We are practicing. And I think it's good for him to have it because it is the one weapon. But it's also like, well, what for real is he going to do with it? It's a bow. He's in a city.
Yeah.
Like, it's not super useful if someone tries to jump him.
Yep.
Unless someone happens to be the Razak who's standing at the entrance of the cathedral and he's all the way at the altar.
Yep. It's like,
Thank goodness that they were that wide space and he didn't turn around and they were right behind him in a tavern. I don't know if the bow and arrow is super useful when it's that close. I'm not an archer.
Yeah.
But it was back to being like, oh, so like you said, he is very skilled with the bow. Yeah. And
it's just ignored.
This goddamn sword. And we'll talk about the sword. We will talk about the sword.
Yep. But I also like when he shoots the Razak, they jump away from it unharmed. Eragon is smart, I think, in these next 2 paragraphs, where he realizes if they know where to find me, Brom is in danger. And so he's like instantly like, okay, I need to get to Brom. And he also sees a line of soldiers coming into the cathedral, and then he also sees them outside. Like, there is a huge number of soldiers.
Yeah.
So even though, and this is again really smart of him, a 15-year-old, looking at the Razak and wanting to kill them, but knowing I can't do this, me and Brom's safety is more important.
Yeah.
And running. And I'm like, that is so good.
I think it is a lot of growth with Eragon. He is thinking. He's not acting impulsively as he once would have.
Yep.
Because he's grown a lot. He's experienced a lot. And he's thinking about the people he cares about. Brom and Saphira. So he bails. There's a borderline comedic sequence as he is running through the cathedral and like bursting into rooms, and priests are like, hey, what are you doing?
Yep. And he like destroys a door, and then he runs at a wall, and he barely gets there, and he has to like hoist himself up.
But then he's like in the marketplace, and he's thinking, how did they find me? They shouldn't have known where I was unless something happened to Brom. He reached out his mind to Saphira and said, "The Razak found me. We're all in danger. Check if Brom's all right. If he is, warn him and have him meet me at the end. And be ready to fly here as fast as you can. We may need your help." And then she responds with, "He will meet you at the end. Don't stop moving. You're in great danger." I love the Saphira. Love that that's the one he reaches out to.
Yep.
Love that he's smart enough to know that she can get in touch with Brom.
Yes.
Hey, why can't Eragon get in touch with Brom? Is it because Brom maybe never, ever, ever, ever told Eragon or trained him in how they could communicate telepathically this way?
That's true.
It only happened the one time when Brom was trying to get a hold of him while they were flying.
Yep.
And we just never circled back to that. They have literal magic goddamn walkie-talkies that Brom just leaves in the suitcase.
So something that I thought about this, and it could be just my experience reading different books. I was thinking, we were talking about dragon books before, and the Dragon Keeper Chronicles does this, where Eragon is in the middle of a city with a lot of other people that could cause a lot of interference for him. That's not mentioned.
Yeah.
But it's like, and I'm like, Saphira could be able to pinpoint Brom better because she is better at it than Eragon is.
Yeah.
So that was what I was thinking. But I also agree, like,
But that's not, we've never been told that people around will be distracting.
Yeah.
We don't know anything about how this can be used.
Yes.
Like, and this is not the first time
Yeah.
that they have been in trouble and needed to get in touch with each other. Like,
yeah.
it is astounding that we just did not, in all of the training, have this.
Yeah.
Like, it is so perplexing.
Yep.
And yeah, and if it was training and he's like, I can't get a hold of Brom because it's too many people, but he can get a hold of Saphira. And yes, it's because their bond is very close. So
Yes.
obviously they can communicate over great distance. That is a thing we saw over time with them. Brom is a lot closer in like proximity to him than Saphira is.
That's
and so
true.
it is. And the only reason he doesn't do it is because he quite genuinely does not know how to do it.
Yep.
He only knows how. He only has Saphira's number saved in his phone.
And he knows he can connect to the horses. He knows he can reach out and connect with something else, but he's never tried with another person.
Yeah, but
besides
he knows.
Brom.
Yeah, but because he's never tried with Brom, but he knows it can be done because
he
Brom
knows it
did
can
it
be
that one
done.
time.
Yes, exactly.
So that's, if that had never happened, I would totally buy Eragon not realizing that he can just use that with other folks.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those things that just circles back to, like, I think Brom was a bad teacher.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say it here.
And
I feel bad about saying that here, but I'm just going to say it here, and I'm going to say it again.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is like this whole sequence of them like mad dashing out is like for real, like we talked about, I thought was going to happen in Tarim.
Yeah.
When I actually don't think that is poor writing on Palini's part. I think it quite possibly was, now that we've got to this part, was intentional to put us into a state of like lower our guard.
Yes.
Because we were so worried in Tarim when they were going to break into the offices and stuff, and so like heightened raise, expecting like Eragon literally tells Saphira we might have to run, and then everything works like kind of just fine.
Yep.
And so while we're here, we don't even think for a second that they won't even, like, we think like, oh, the plan, once they get to the mountain, things might pop off there.
Yep.
But it never even thinks that they might not even get to do the plan, because they've done their plan over, like, every time they've had a plan, they've been able to execute it.
Yeah. And I think you have a good point, because when they get there, you're like, yep, okay, they're gonna get in, Brom's gonna do his thing.
There's a cycle now.
Yeah, he's gonna do his thing. They're gonna go to the mountain, and that's where it's gonna. I just like I've read this book like 3-4 times, and even me, I'm like, oh yeah, they go to the mountain, and then I was like, wait, no, they don't.
No, they never get to that.
They never get to that, because it's like, oh yeah, it's just the da 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 da. It's whatever comes next. So,
yeah.
Yes.
So I think, actually shouting out, we did develop a pattern of the way things work.
Yeah.
And that at this point it breaks, and that breaking of the pattern is actually going forward how things change, and everything is wrong now.
Yep.
And it throws us into the same feelings that Eragon is going to experience, wherein we've lost any sort of familiarity. Like, things, we don't know how things are going to go anymore. We don't know what's going to happen next, because the thing we had to rely on just didn't work. It kind of reminds me of Avengers Infinity War.
Yeah.
Wherein the fact that Thanos wins goes against everything we, the audience, and the heroes have been taught about the way the world works.
Yep.
Every hero does the right thing.
Yeah.
They refuse to sacrifice people in order to protect themselves. They stand together. Like Wakanda opens its doors to fight back, which is usually something you don't see. You have strangers willing to work together in alien planets. Like the heroes do, and they care for each other. And yes, people will blame Star-Lord for how he acted when he found out Gamora was dead, which is like, yes, of course, that was stupid and that did fuck up their plan. But simultaneously, heroes are told you should love and care deeply.
Yep.
And so they do everything right and Thanos still wins.
Yep.
And that would not happen in any other thing. In any other movie, the heroes do everything that we know they're supposed to do. So it breaks a pattern, and then we don't know where things are going to go for the next. What are we going to do? We'll be fine in the end. But so seeing a pattern broken when it's like, but Eragon did everything. And in this chapter, Eragon does everything right.
Yeah, like, he does.
He follows Brom's orders. He brings the bow with him. He doesn't draw attention to himself. He doesn't make a scene. He's even like, it's weird he's respectful at the cathedral, but at the very least, if anyone saw him, they wouldn't think it was weird. He wasn't.
Weird. Yeah, exactly.
So, and things still and they even had a plan.
Yep, they had a plan.
Yeah, and things still go wrong. Yep. And it's suddenly like we no longer have the security of familiarity of knowing if we do the right thing, it'll be okay.
Yeah, and I was going to add to that just with Brom and Eragon's mad dash escape. Mm-hmm. They are just full of panic and chaos. And it's
the gates are closing.
The gates are actively closing. It was a really good sequence. And we feel that. Like what you said earlier about like feeling what they feel. It's like, yes, we are feeling the chaos. We are feeling the panic because that familiar cycle was broken. Yeah. So it's like, yeah, really well done. It's very good.
And then they do get out and they're in the woods. They're at camp.
Yep, they managed to escape all the way, and then they're able to like they go for quite a ways, and then they finally make camp, kind of.
And then at the end, Eragon thinks he sees something in the woods. And he's like, I don't know. I thought I saw something. It must have been a bird. Pain erupted in the back of his head, and Saphira roared. Then Eragon toppled to the ground, unconscious.
Yep, it's like,
whoa, no! Because now we've got the Razak's revenge.
Yes.
Trapped, our heroes find themselves helpless and at the Razak's mercy. What mercy?
There's no mercy. None at all.
They clearly jumped Eragon and Brom. Like, they got the jump on him, knocked him out, because when Eragon comes to, he and Brom are tied together. Brom is still unconscious. Saphira is chained and pinned to the ground, but she is still awake. Like, they did not overpower her.
No.
But they say that when they threatened to kill Eragon is when she complied. Because
that's the only way she...
Yeah, she could have escaped. She could have killed them.
Oh, absolutely.
But they had Eragon and she wouldn't dare.
Yep. Because she doesn't want to risk her rider.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing I really like about this chapter is that this is the first time I think we've got up close and personal with the Razak, and we get their personalities. And they're
so arrogant.
They're arrogant. They're pure evil. They had we're showed that they don't have any compassion whatsoever. They're even willing to go against the king for their own needs.
They just want to.
Yeah, they want to, and they're like, oh, the king doesn't need to know. Like, we're just gonna lie to his face. Like, they honestly don't care. Like, yes, they obey the king, but ultimately they serve themselves first.
Yep. They've drugged Eragon and Brom because Eragon tries to reach out to Saphira, but he can't.
Yep.
And it's like, he can't do magic.
Yep.
So they find Zarok, the sword, and they're like very impressed when they realize what it is. And we're just like, okay, it's a sword. I mean, we know what it is.
Yes, we know what it is, but everyone's like, eh.
And then I love this interaction where he tells Eragon, you will serve our master very well. Yes. Eragon forced his thick tongue to form words. If I do, I will kill you. They chuckled coldly. Oh no, we are too valuable. But you are disposable. And it's like, who the hell do you think you are?
Yep. And Saphira has the same mind of being like, a deep snarl came from Saphira. Smoke roiled from her nostrils. So she also shares that sentiment. Like, who the fuck do you think you are?
And for me, it's funny. It's like naughty, and they don't even care.
They don't even bat.
And it's not even that I think it's like, oh, the threatening of Eragon. Like, oh, you're disposable. It's that they truly think that they are more valuable to Galbatorix than Eragon. And that's wrong. We know that is not true. Like, yes, they are his loyal, like, mercenaries. They are his loyal servants. They do well. But Eragon is a dragon rider. And we know Galbatorix wants the eggs. He wants to control the next generation of riders.
Absolutely.
And also considering how when he lost his first dragons, because he went after the Urgles, we also can assume this is someone who's got a very, like, xenophobic cultural purity where he probably only tolerates the Razak because they're useful to him.
Yeah.
But if he gets Eragon and Eragon's like, I want to kill them, he would let Eragon kill them.
I think so,
like,
yeah.
I think that is like where the arrogance comes from, where they do think they are so valuable and precious. And they're definitely not.
Yeah.
Like, the fact that they think that they would be more important to Galbatorix than Eragon is utterly laughable.
Yep.
But yeah, and then the more of, like, Brom is starting to wake up, and that's when they're just like, well, let's just kill this one. And they're like, okay, but the king was to keep them alive. We can say he was killed when we captured them. I am doing, like, the Lich voice from the Adventure Tome.
Honestly, it's very close to the audiobook.
That's what I realize I'm trying to do is the Lich voice without the mechanical effect.
Yeah.
And then they're like, well, what if Eragon talks? And like, oh, he wouldn't dare.
And again, like, just that arrogant mark being like, he wouldn't dare.
Well, yeah, it's like, no, Eragon's already said, if I work for Galbatorix, I will kill you.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, no, whatever. You're so convinced of your importance and that you have Eragon right where you want him, that you will betray the king's trust. And then turn around and expect Eragon not to use that as, even if, let's say, the king was, like, not willing to kill them because they were valuable.
Yeah.
He finds out that they wantingly dismissed his, like, thing, thinking he wouldn't find out. Yeah. You're dead. You're dead.
And also, I think the other thing too is, like, I don't know if the king knows what the Razak has done, like burning Garrow and destroying the farm.
Yeah, like, we don't know what information the king has. So at this point.
And it could be like the Razak did that, like, as we've discussed before, intentionally so that Eragon would follow him. But I think in doing so, also turned Eragon even more against the king.
Yeah.
So it's like the king could be like, dude, what the fuck?
Yeah, because Brom said, like, the king wouldn't have authorized that because he would not want to risk completely alienating you when he thinks that maybe you'd still work for him.
Exactly.
And obviously, like, killing your family would not make it easier for him to easily control you.
Yes.
And so they're just, clearly the Razak are just so used to getting away with whatever they want.
Absolutely.
That is why they view themselves as so important, because there has never been a situation in which they weren't valuable to the king.
Yep. And then they actually, what we were saying, decide to kill Brom.
And Eragon can do nothing.
And yeah, and that's a big thing, is like Eragon can do nothing but watch. Like, there's nothing he can do. And I'm like, that hopelessness is probably absolutely terrifying. Maybe even worse than what happened with Garrow, because he wasn't there for Garrow and didn't have to experience that helplessness of being there, but also being able to do nothing.
Oh yeah, it's just like that all over again.
Yeah.
Anyway, so arrows start to rain from the sky.
Yes!
One Razak gets hit, the other one dodge rolls out of the way, but these are just flying, and you're like, what?
Yep. What I really like about that is, as more arrows hissed into the camp from the unseen trackers, the Razak rolled behind some boulders. There was a lull, then arrows came from the opposite direction. Caught by surprise, the Razak reacted slowly. I just love the, like, arrows going, just the image of arrows going, shooting from it, and then stopping. And then the other area. Like, oh, they moved. The person moved. Like, oh, shit.
And so they're like, oh, shoot. Like, the smaller Razak fled through the road, kicking Eragon viciously in the side as he passed. What a dick.
Yep. What a dick.
And
dick move.
Speaking of dick moves.
Oh,
this is what. Oh, I didn't understand what happened when I read it the first time. I'm just now understanding what happened.
Yeah.
Okay. His companion hesitated, then grabbed the dagger from the ground and raced after him. As he left the camp, he hurled the knife at Eragon. A strange light suddenly burned in Brom's eyes. He threw himself in front of Eragon, his mouth open in a soundless snarl. The dagger struck him with a soft thump, and he landed heavily on his shoulder. His head lolled limply. I when I read it, I thought, I don't know, I was reading too quickly or just did not, and it's obvious, so I don't know why I missed it, but I thought the Razak had stabbed Brom as he ran away.
Oh,
I did not realize that Brom threw himself in the way to save Eragon.
Yep.
That's so good and
it's
so
good.
sad. Yep. Oh my gosh. Anyway, Eragon ends up unconscious again at the end of the...
Yes. I like the...
But no one hits him this time. It's just the pain of everything.
The
he
pain
just
of
knocks
everything.
him
And and I like the... No! Screamed Eragon as Brom falls.
Just classic.
And it's just like, that fucking hurts, man.
See, I can hear it. I can hear in the voice of Luke Skywalker.
Yeah. No. Or however he says it. Yep.
So that's it. That's it for these chapters. Yep. Oh my gosh.
And it's like
everything went wrong.
Everything went wrong. Like, again, like I really like what you said, because we were lulled into the sense of security of, there's like high stakes. Oh no, it worked out okay.
Yeah.
And then going in here, it's like, there's high stakes, but everything goes bad. Like the Razak were able to follow them without any, like, they were there. They made camp and the Razak were there.
Yeah.
Like,
no, once they had him,
there was no sense of safety in any of that part of their escape.
Yeah, Brom theorizes that someone tipped the Razak off, that they were in town somehow, and it's not super important how the Razak knew. The matters is they did know, and it's not unreasonable for them to know, because it is their town.
Yep.
They run this bitch.
Yes.
So, oh my gosh.
It's real. It's like, Brom getting stabbed is like, oh shit.
Yeah, and the heroic saving.
The heroic saving. Yep.
Great scene.
Yep. Good scene.
I think my writing takeaway is actually that having a pattern isn't a bad thing, so long as you're willing to break that pattern when it's time.
Yes. I think I like that. I think sticking with that's good.
Cool.
Because I'm like, I can't think of any other one but that, because it can be useful. Lulling your readers into a sense of security and then ripping the blanket away is not a bad thing.
Yes,
it can be very impactful.
Yeah, especially when it is literally supposed to be a tone shift that is going to lead. Now things are truly, it's not just like, oh, that was scary. Oh, but everything's going to go back to normal. Like,
no, shit changes.
It's like, we definitely get the vibe. Things are not going back to normal after this. There is no more normal.
Yep.
So, Lucy, should we tell him?
I think we should tell him.
We should tell him.
We should tell him.
Yes.
Hi,
everybody. So, we've thought about it.
Yes.
And we would like to invite you to come hang out with us as we talk about other dragon media.
Yes.
We go beyond. There's so much good dragon content. There's so much good dragon stories and characters all over. And we bring it up a lot. Like, Lucy is so well versed in this that I think
like dragons.
I think us as readers and storytellers would benefit so much from being able to engage more with dragon media.
Yep.
And so we invite you to come join us over on Patreon. Patreon.com/EABA, Eragon and Back Again, obviously.
Yep.
We've got one tier. It's $5 a month. And honestly, it is just, if you like the show, you're enjoying what we do, you want to support us so we can buy pop filters. That's right. That's really why we're doing this. We really want to buy pop filters. It'll make the podcast so much easier and quicker to edit, which may in turn result in episodes coming out more frequently. We can't promise that, but like, maybe. That's it. And the good ones, gang, the good ones. And we want the good ones.
Yeah.
They cost a pretty penny.
Yeah, they do.
So, if you want to help us, because that's what the money, any Patreon money would go to making the show better. And that's one very tangible. We were discussing, like, how are we going to get these?
Yeah.
And so that would be like, we are reaching a point in being a podcast that has gone on for, honestly, Lucy, the show hasn't existed for over a year, like in audio form.
Yeah.
But it was this time last year, or at the time of recording, by the time you're listening to it later, at the time of recording, we had discussed, we had committed to let's do it. Murtag had gotten announced. I was in New York talking to the other, like, Percy Jackson podcasters on the trip last year about it. And I just texted you and I was like, let's just do it.
Yep.
So,
like, yes, let's do it.
So we've reached a phase where there are other things we would like to be able to do with the podcast. And those things cost money.
Yes.
So, unfortunately, but they are things that would allow the podcast to grow beyond what it is now, become more of a long-term thing, help reach out, invite other people to come and enjoy and be a part of this community.
Yeah.
So that is what the Patreon is going to be for. And if you can support the show in a financial means, like, check it out. It's $5 a month, and you will get a bonus episode every month that is us discussing some other dragon media.
Yep.
As of today, the episode for April will be up.
Yep.
And we are covering Dragonflight, the first book in Anne McCaffrey's Dragon Riders of Pern.
Yes.
Neither of us have ever read any of the Dragon Riders of Pern books, but considering how much of an influence this series was on the Eragon books, it feels appropriate to pay homage to McCaffrey. Who,
absolutely.
By the way, was the first woman to win a Hugo and a Nebula award for the first Dragon Riders of Pern book. So we love it. We love to see it. So you can go check it out right now. Patreon.com/EABA. Link's going to be in the show notes. And if you can't, if you just aren't in the position, or Patreon isn't something that you do, or you're just like, I don't want to, hey, that's totally cool.
Yeah.
The fact that you are listening to the podcast at all is so supportive.
Yes.
Like, that is so big to see the numbers grow every week. And that means that we are retaining people who are enjoying this.
Yes, and that's always, like, just really heartwarming.
Yeah, and hearing from folks on Instagram and on Spotify and just sharing those things, like, that is a truly intensely tangible way to support the podcast. It is knowing that we are not speaking to a void is so important, because it means it gives us that emotional mental energy to the emotional and mental resources to invest in the show more.
Yep.
So for real, this is just a thing where if you can and you'd like to support the show, that would be awesome. And then the bonus episodes once a month would be like a thank you to that. But if you can't, no pressure, no guilt, no judgment. Like, thank you for listening.
Yes,
like, that
thank you
it means so much. Like, we appreciate all of our listeners so very much.
Yep.
But in conjunction with the fact that we would want to talk about more dragon stuff, that's, I think, what our question for this episode is going to be.
Yeah.
What would you like to hear us talk about?
Yeah.
We've built a list, so we definitely have a lot, but there are probably things that we don't know.
Yep.
I definitely want things that are like dragon comics and graphic novels.
Yeah.
I think we have a lot of TV shows, a lot of books, a lot of movies.
Yeah, we don't have any of the graphic novels.
Like other media, things like that. So yeah, let us know, what is your favorite dragon thing, or even like a thing that you'd be like, I bet they would have a great take on this.
Yeah.
What other dragon things could we be discussing?
That would be like super, super cool if y'all just reached out and everything. But till next time, she's Darien Smartt.
And she's Lucy Hart.
And this has been Eragon.
And back again.